Hello, everybody, and welcome again to TableTakes. Today is November 6th, 2020, and you know what? Yeah, things are things this week. Yeah, just remember to drink water, and drink water and sleep when you can. Ooh. Well, but on that note, you know what? This is a good time to try to figure out things that you can distract yourself with, but also get back into the nostalgia of things. Derek, you've been going in and creeping through the comic books, right?
Yeah, I did. I was talking about how I was getting back into X-Men and how I was listening to that Cerebro podcast where a gay guy talks to, a bunch of marginalized folks about their perspectives on the X-Men, which continues to be fantastic, by the way. But I finally figured out like where I read comics. It's, like comics are just that weird thing. Like you will be amazed if you go back and reread a comic that you read when you were a kid that you loved. You'll be amazed at how many of the exact panels just come rushing back to you when you start rereading it. Like flipping through the X-Men #1 like relaunch or gold team blue team split that happened in like 1991 or whatever. How many of those panels are just burned into my memory and just like reemerged like fully formed as I was flipping through it were ridiculous. But I've been going through and trying to catch up on like X-Men key events and stuff like that. And I found out like this is one of those things that if you were big into comics, you'll be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And if you're not, none of this is just going to be gibberish. So like I think I read from like the last issue of the Extinction Agenda to just the beginning of Executioner Saga. So like 1989 to 1991 or 92 ish was about when I was reading comics. So it's like a very narrow era, but like, that was a very big time for X-Men. Bishop was introduced then. Lots of neat stuff. So it's been really fun for me to go back and reread. And now that I'm reading the actual events like vaguely in order, I realized how much of all of what I had assumed was happening was just not right. Like there were several huge big events that were like everybody dies or something like that just before I started reading, and I assumed they were all one big thing. So I had like, for some reason I thought Legion destroyed Genosha and killed a whole bunch of people, and they were completely unrelated events.
Oh, I mean, it's your childhood brain trying to like coalesce all the things together. Sometimes you gotta,
rediscover your youth through comics. I is maybe my recommendation for sanity right now.
I'm gonna go back and reread all
I'm enjoying it.
Garfield and Calvin and Hobbes I used to read back in
I
elementary
used to collect all those Garfield books when I was a kid. I had like 9 of them or some stupid amount.
Oh yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, Davion, did you recover from last week from the very spooky alien stream?
Yeah. I'm still in recovery right now. Actually, I'm still terrified of Chaplin. Is that his name? When he was shushing the alien that crawled out of somebody's chest, like
it was such a good clip.
That was terrible. Yeah, I'm just trying to pretend it didn't happen. So. That was fun. Also, thank you guys for having me on again. I'm super excited to be here again because I love being on the show. My week has been pretty good, all things considered. I've been trying to get some sleep and making progress. And when I can't sleep, I play piano. I've been learning how to with this new digital piano I got, and I'm very happy with my progress.
Oh, very nice. You're a music maestro.
Yeah. Anything I can do that is just like repetition. Time just flies by, and I can memorize like a bunch of things over time. It's very impressive when whenever my friends get to come over again.
Oh man, I mean it'll be fine. Now you need to make Gen Con jingles.
I'll make you guys one. It'll be terrible.
But yeah, what about you, Isabella? What have you been up to? Getting rest, I hope.
No. Just tired. She's just so tired. She's just been tired. Also, don't check my Twitter account to see what I've been up to these days. Just skip over that.
You were just yelling at us for not checking it.
I checked her Twitter account. I saw what she said, and I was like, "Oh."
Just skip it. Halloween happened and I feel like it was lame. I feel like it was not. I tried to do a whole bunch of stuff to like recreate Halloween and like all this stuff, and like it just wasn't the same. And then we went right into the election. And I went to sleep on Halloween night and woke up and I had an extra hour and it was the election and I don't know what happened. And I just figured out that none of my clocks match. I just figured that out last night. I was like, why do I feel like I don't know what day it is or what time it is? And I realized that the clock on the oven and the clock on my phone and the clock on the Switch, they're all different clocks. And I just don't know where I am right now. And I've been staying away from the news, but I can't stay away from the news because if I stay away from the news, then I don't know what's happening to this country. And I can't go to sleep until I know what kind of country I'm going to wake up to. And then I wake up and I don't know the country that I'm waking up to. And I'm just scared. I'm just scared and I'm tired and I'm stressed. But other than that,
Yeah.
Isabella, could I interest you in some comic books?
If you're going to introduce me to this new comic book, this underground comic book called the X-Men.
Yep, you may not have heard of it before. It's
very underground,
very hush hush.
Yeah, I hear it's really cool. It's by this indie publisher called Marvel. Yeah, yep. I've heard of that.
Very hip. It's very hip, very cool.
If you can give me a starter pack of like 10 issues and that's it. I'm not gonna start and read a run of 5,000 X-Men comic books right now.
Probably only like 500, 600, something like that.
I can't do it. Okay. Derek, I can't do it. I'm already frazzled.
I've been taking it in bite-sized chunks. Like, the Marvel app, it's not comprehensive, but they have a number of these like reading lists that they've made where they're like, hey, this was a big crossover event, or this was a big event in the Marvel universe or in the X-Men universe. And it's like, here are the 12 issues, here are the 20 issues that encompass that whole event. So I haven't been like reading X-Men from the 60s. I've just been going through the X-Men events and being like, cool, what happened during Mutant Massacre? What happened during Age of the Apocalypse? Let me just read that so I can get the high points. And once I'm caught up on those, then I can kind of like go through the individual issues.
We were supposed to have our debate about what they were going to do for the Marvel reboot. And we were supposed to figure that out. But we don't have time to do that because this is not a Marvel reboot Twitch stream.
Maybe we will schedule a very special episode of TableTakes in the future. We'll invite viewers to send in their own ideas.
Oh, that'd be good.
What I have been doing actually is this is so lame. What I've been doing is playing Animal Crossing for the past couple of days.
That's
but I just time travel back to Halloween night, and I've done that 3 times now, where I keep resetting the time so that I can keep going back to Halloween and experiencing Halloween in my town. That's all I've been doing for 3 days.
It may come as a surprise to you, but I feel like we have discovered why the clocks in your house don't match up with each other anymore.
Listen,
you keep resetting time. Good thing you don't have any turnips because your turnips will go bad. Keep resetting your time.
Also, big news. The Animal Crossing is the #1 game that's sold on the Switch. Congratulations, Animal Crossing.
Wow.
Your game it's the #1 best-selling game. And it's good. It's good if you need just a game that has just no political affiliation, even though I think one of the animals that's in my town is an undercover cop. If you just need one that's just a no stressor game, Animal Crossing, you can't go wrong. It was totally.
I was going to say Destiny.
Yeah.
You were going to say what?
I was going to say Destiny. If you want a no stressor game where you can just go out and save the universe, Destiny.
No, but you gotta just talk to your neighbors and just do redecorating. That's Animal Crossing.
I can talk to my neighbors in Destiny, and I can design my own outfit, and I can put colors on it.
All right. No.
You do farming in Destiny.
But yeah, can you talk to Can you give a pie or a cake to a cute rhinoceros named Meringue who has a
Actually,
strawberry for a nose?
You would be surprised. During Christmas, there's a holiday event in Destiny where you can bake cookies and deliver them to NPCs all around the solar system, and that is like
Oh, that's
a huge
actually
part of the
Okay,
game.
that's pretty cool. We like that.
all right.
And
Yeah, you won
during
me over.
during Halloween, you can put on a mask that looks like different NPCs in the universe.
Oh,
And
then
when you're wearing the mask, anything you do collects you candy. So you basically go trick or treating around the solar system during.
Oh,
Very
all
silly.
right.
All right, that's cute. I'll let you have it, Derek. It's adorable. Yes.
Yeah, no, I think I've been kind of doing the same, just like, hey, silent, let's just take a moment to silently scream and then smile. I've been playing a lot of Switch games too, just the Taiko Drum game and Pikmin 3. I know it was, of course, on the Wii U, but nobody plays the Wii U. Everything's about the Switch now.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was a good console. It just didn't sell very well.
Yeah. No, I mean, the Switch has been making a lot of different changes. I mean, a lot of things are making changes and announcing new things, I would say. Right, Javion? Things are starting to get announced everywhere.
Yes. Paizo, and I had to look this up. Giochi Unity. No, Giochi. Dang it, I messed it up. Giochi
Sounds like
Unity.
an Italian name.
Yes, they're doing they're maybe doing some crowdfunding for a new board game called Pathfinder Arena. It's going to be set in the Age of Lost Omens setting. So for
That's the current Pathfinder stuff, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't already know what Age of Lost Omens is, it's one of the 5 historical ages. It's basically the present day. And what happened was this god named Eridan came out and was like, "Hey, everybody, I'm gonna make America great again. We're gonna have prosperity. It's gonna everybody's gonna have like an acre of land, and all the crops are gonna grow super tall, and all of that." And then it just didn't happen. He just like didn't show up. So what happened instead was there are a bunch of storms, political conflict, and I think even like a bunch of planar rifts in the world just like opened up, and there's just chaos everywhere. So that's what they're dealing with in Pathfinder right now. Perfect time for a gladiator.
I mean, just to be
arena.
clear, you're talking about Pathfinder. You're not describing the current state of the U.S.
No. Just
I
to be
did
clear,
like zone out for a second and come back, and it was like, wait, what are we talking about?
Where are we? Who are you? What is this?
What is the world?
Yeah, no, despite its obvious similarities to the current state of affairs, it is Pathfinder. So I'm expecting a lot of current events to like show up in the game, and it's like a cool opportunity for Paizo to introduce some new characters or something like that. We already know that Maurizio, which is not a legendary character, but one of the pre-gens, and also has
one of their iconics.
Yeah, one of the iconics. Is going to be making an appearance based on the cover art anyway. And there's a 2-headed Cyclops, which classic gladiator arena stuff. So
it's a 2-headed Cyclops is like they've got one too many heads, but just the right number of eyes.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah, it's like perfect synergy. It's like they're made.
Now I'm just imagining, would a 2-headed Cyclops wear glasses like this or like this?
It's just like a long pair of eyeglasses.
They each
Why
get a
wouldn't they just be monocle? Yeah, I was gonna say it's monocles. Both of them get fancy monocles on their faces.
So what is this game actually supposed to be?
Yeah, well, it's a competitive strategy board game. There's going to be some resource management, but I think it's more of like an RPG where people are going to be leveling up, collecting new skills and spells and equipment.
But it's competitive, not cooperative. So it's not
Right.
like Gloomhaven or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah, it is increasing levels of monsters, and I'm assuming maybe like a boss battle at the very end would be really cool. I don't know. I don't know much about it because they're sort of just teasing it right now. But if you go to the Giochi Unity International, they spell Unity with like an I at the end. So I keep wanting to say Uniti or
Unity.
Unity.
I thought it said gnocchi Unity, and I was like, that's definitely not what it says.
Apparently they're a new site and they do lots of RPG stuff, and they're working with Paizo now. So
So lots to look forward.
Yeah, if you go to their website, I'm gonna stop even trying. If you go to the website, you can sign up for our newsletter, and they'll let you know when the crowdfunding starts.
Very, very cool on that. Well, yeah, just check it out. When is it supposed to be coming out?
2021,
supposedly. Okay. So keep an eye out, chat. On other things, hey, are you guys indoors and not being able to go outside, because it's a global sensation or something like that? Well, guess what? Asmodee just came out with with a Connect and Play initiative. So they basically have released a set of guides, tools to help players basically play games with their fellow friends, family, what have you, by using Zoom or Google Meetup. So the games that are included in this is Spot It, Dixit, all right, how do you pronounce it? Yeah, Dixit. Just One and Sherlock Holmes Consulting develop it. And I think we're going to go ahead. Yeah, it's in chat right now. So, I mean, it does require multiple copies to play the game. So there is that kind of pebble into the shoe. But it's still a game they still show you the guides, I know this might not be new to people, be like, oh yeah, of course, I just put my camera on my game, but not everybody just thinks of that initial idea. I mean, Derek, you were saying that your wife and you started playing Pandemic while you guys were long distance and such.
Yeah, we played Pandemic when she was in Ireland, and we basically just had one board that was the real board. That's where we drew cards from. That's where we moved things around. That's where we did the actions on. And then the other board was just updated to reflect what was happening. So I would deal cards out to her, for example, and then she would look in her deck to pull those cards out to put in her hand, basically. And it actually worked really, really well. You just, I think it worked particularly well for us because we just used the Connect in the living room. So, it just showed kind of the whole board state, the whole living room, and it felt a lot more like you were hanging out with people. But you can still do the same thing, just kind of propping up a webcam or putting a laptop on, on some books to look down on a table or something like that. And it's not perfect. It's not exactly what we want, but it still gets you playing with the physical tactile board game that you have with your friends and family. And Asmodee picked a bunch of games, Javion, I just saw you pull One off the shelf. They picked a bunch of games that are great to play with your family so if you're sick of grandma calling you to FaceTime you, you can be like, cool, how about we play this game too, grandma?
Yeah, I forgot to ask you guys, do you like my new background? Because I put up my board game shelf in the background instead. I'm going to put this away now.
I think you
definitely have the classic look.
You need more. There's too many spaces. You need to fill in those gaps with more games.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The gaps above the board games. Okay.
Chaos.
I'm sure I have a bunch of small games that'll fit.
No, but it is interesting that they're starting to take this step, Asmodee's. Hopefully this brings more companies and people, because I know Isabella, you've been also doing a lot of things that would be considered stuff that you have to do in person, watching shows and such, and you've been transferring all of that to be performances that are people talking and interacting via online, via any other web sources as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is really interesting. I think that I think that after all of this 2020 madness kind of passes over, that there'll still be incorporations of these kinds of things, and that we still should be incorporating these kinds of things. And I think this is really cool. I mean, for me, I've already figured out how to play these games without needing additional kind of stuff, and I feel like we've been, in this situation for a very long time, and they're I guess, I don't know the tech side of it. So I'm sure that they probably had to figure all of that, how to do it. I'm glad that they're like not charging people to use these remote play guides. I think that that's great. And that they should put everything should be, I think, available like this. But I do think that it's kind of cost prohibitive. So I'm interested in learning more about, like, is this about accessibility, or is this kind of more of like a marketing kind of a thing? Because right now it feels more like it's about marketing and trying to get the game out there, because of the fact that so many of these games are like games that you play physically, and they're just trying to market it to another audience, versus the idea, which I think is really important right now, which is like the accessibility of allowing everybody to be able to play these kinds of games, no matter what you are going through in your personal life. I'm a little distrustful.
I don't think that this is in any way like a serious effort to make sure that the kind of core audience or people who previously weren't able to experience these games has a chance to now, except maybe for folks who just were remote enough that they just couldn't get friends together for it.
Yeah.
I think this is very much more a case of like, these are, I think, particularly like these are family or group games. I wouldn't say they're all family, because Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective is not, a game that you play with young kids, but it is a game that you play with like a group of friends. You have them over for dinner, you kind of just talk through the game and whatnot. And I think they're basically, recognizing that these are the kinds of games that if people can't get together and play them, will not be successful. Like the whole point of them is coming together. There's not a deep strategy to them. There's not a deep element that will kind of keep people engaged through a tough time or an obstacle. So I think they really are just trying to figure out, how do we make these games viable in this environment so people will continue to buy them?
Okay.
That's fair.
Well, that's a fair thing. So like I said, go ahead and look that up if you want to go ahead and have a guide if you haven't figured out how to do all of these things. And it might just be something that you notice things that, hey, this probably would work better for me in any case. Speaking of things that you can play online, that's just like out of the blue kind of thing, or not really out of the blue. If you're into the if you're into the scene, you'd get it. So Derek, tell us a little bit about this.
So this is kind of like almost like the human interest story, I guess, in some ways, of the week, where in case anybody's not familiar, there's kind of a category of LARPs that have become very popular over the past several years that are sometimes called parlor LARPs or Norwegian LARPs or freeform LARPs or something like that. And the idea is that instead of having a LARP that has dozens and dozens or hundreds of players, or instead of boffer weapons or intricate plots or detailed characters that you make and you bring from game to game to game, a lot of these LARPs are much more small scale. It might be 4 players, 6 players, 10 players. It could be pre-generated characters, could be an established setting. It could be a LARP that's intended to just be a one shot and it's going to come to a resolution at the end. It's just much more small scale games, kind of similar to like a parlor LARP or a chamber LARP, compared to a LARP is kind of what like an indie storytelling game might be compared to a traditional RPG or say D&D or something like that. They feel kind of similar niches, I think, like emotionally or intellectually. And a bunch of really amazing games have come out, and it just was amusing to see this pop up on Twitter, where there's a game from Jason Morningstar, who was one of the designers for Fiasco. That's kind of his big claim to fame. He wrote Out of Dodge, which is a very kind of small scale LARP about a bank heist. And you just kind of freeform role play, like all the players just left a bank heist and they're just going to kind of talk through it and role play through it. And, the game's going to have some basic mechanics to guide them, but it's really about like reacting to what other people say, very much blurring that line between what is improv and what is a LARP, for example. So a group of friends decided that they wanted to play it, but it's quarantine. They can't see each other. So what's the next best way to do it? To play a bank heist in GTA and then role play the LARP in the car on the way escaping the bank heist. So like there's definitely a game within a game within a game here, like, and that is hilarious. And then the like just seeing it kind of play out in GTA, which is perfect for it, is hilarious. And then we kind of had the conversation of like, well, people use Grand Theft Auto 5 to do that, and then that opened up the whole other conversation we were having before the show about how vibrant the role-playing community, like in the people who are role-playing GTA, is in GTA. That's really big.
Yes.
And then that got us on a whole other tangent down EVE Online or whatever. Like, so what it boils down to is like, I love that LARPs, we're seeing some of the LARP creativity bubble up. This also happened with the Golden Cobras, which I think we need to cover soon. It's an independent LARP award, and they just gave a bunch of awards out this year to LARPs that have adapted to being played online. And, you know, there's so much inherent in the idea of LARP that people assume walking around, they assume costuming. There's a lot of complication and kind of anxiety or barriers to some people to join those games. So it's really fascinating to me to see how some of these games are adapting to the realities of what we have to go through right now. So if you just kind of want the gaming human interest story, go watch some friends yell at each other as they role play through a GTA bank heist in character.
Is that just on YouTube?
Yeah. Yep. Like they
Okay,
basically
got it.
played the game and recorded it, and then they tweeted it at Jason Morningstar, and he shared it around.
That's awesome.
I just learned that people are still playing GTA. So
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. GTA 5 is so popular. It's like the
With
highest selling
who?
video game. It's like the highest selling video game.
For whom? Whom is
PC
playing
gamers,
this?
console gamers, like
Mhm.
you name it. I mean, they're gonna put GTA 5 on every
I
console.
need a demographic.
Forever.
Is it 14-year-old boys from Wisconsin? Who's playing these games?
So I
No,
think
you
that's the
just-
stereotype, but it can't just be that. Like, it almost feels like GTA has kind of become the new Skyrim. You know, like that open world that just everybody plays on every device, and your fridge runs it. Like,
okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if
Yeah.
in a little while you just get a TV or a fridge that runs GTA, and you
So
play it
it's
briefly
not-
while you eat water.
It's not 15-year-old boys from Wisconsin. It's 25-year-old single men from Wisconsin is what you're saying. I don't know. I didn't know that people were still playing GTA. I didn't know GTA was still fun. I thought, like, you know, you kind of go and then they made the memes and oh, here we go again and like all this kind of stuff. And then we were kind of like, it's over, it's done. We've all matured.
Well, GTA 5 was one of those games that went from here is the GTA 5 game. And it came out, it was released, people played it, but they had this online component, they had this other component to it that seems to have kind of just grown into its own almost simulation of the world. So like, if you wanted to do any kind of video game activity that was in a modern day-ish setting, you could do it in GTA. You want to go play GTA? You could do that. Do you want to go role play that you're all James Bond in a casino? You can do that. Do you want to role play that you are Fast and the Furious and you're just racing? Like, all of that stuff just seems to have like continued to grow and expand and just, you know, reach a self-maintaining state, apparently.
I just checked on Twitch. It looks there's 145,000 people watching people play GTA 5 right now.
Yep. All that's role
One of
playing.
them. Except no, watch us.
I also learned that this thing that they're doing is called VARPing. It's virtual LARPing.
Yep.
Say it with me. VARPing.
Varping.
No, I'm not going to
Varping.
say it.
I
That is
don't
an
like
acronym
it.
that works in
Sounds
text
like
and not in
vaping.
speech.
It sounds like virtual farting. I don't like it.
Oh, so I think because I got vomit burping out of it.
I also
so,
thought
like,
farting, so that to be
Yeah. Well, you've been farting a lot today.
I have been
Bonsai. Yes, it is vomit. It's when you burp and you vomit at the same time, farping. Yes. I'm glad that we all came together for this. This was
But
really
yeah.
great.
Oof. And in other news,
Yep.
check it out. GTA 5 is apparently a whole alternate dimension that some of us aren't aware of. And EVE Online is in the same kind of category. I'm sure it's Skyrim is like there's all these games that
There's
are like
so
that.
many. Just wait until you get into the Final Fantasy RPGers. And
Okay,
then
that makes sense to me. That I'm on board with. The idea of the GT, that I'm like, okay, yes, because I want to be one of those rabbit people. I get that, okay, but like the GTA thing, I'm my mind is blown. I'm blown. The idea of a game instead of a game instead of a game, like it's a donut hole inside of a donut's hole inside of a donut's hole, and I'm just.
I mean, if you provide the platform for people to connect with other people and like similarities in a function that isn't their actual body, you're gonna find people that are gonna like hook onto it, kind of thing.
They are gonna play it.
They're gonna play it. They're gonna play it how they want because they do it as long as they're not hurting anybody else. Boom, freedom. Well. So on another related note that a lot of people might be excited for, especially if you are a fan of Terraforming Mars, well, guess what? They are coming out with a the creator of Terraforming Mars, or one of the designers, remakes this game. It was originally came out as Space Station. They were like, never mind, that's not as cool, but Star Scrapers Orbital. Now that's a name you can hook onto because you're like, Space Station, but no. Star Scraper Orbital. So instead of, the previous one, Terraforming Mars, which is you're on Mars and trying to terraform various different companies, now you are Star Scrapers. You are on a big, gigantic space station and trying to work with the intricacies of worker placement, building your various different sections of the space station. You got aliens. It's fabulous. So if you guys want to go ahead and check it out, just if you're a fan of Terraforming Mars, especially if you not too long ago bought the very nice special edition Terraforming Mars with all the very nice parts on Kickstarter.
Is that you? Are you the one who did that?
Maybe I spent money because 2020 is hard. Let me just spend my money.
Back off.
But yes, if you like those kind of games, definitely go give them a check out on that. Well, hey, friends, did you guys realize that was all of our headlines today?
That is the only thing that happened this week? Cool.
Oh, well, I mean, there's other things that happen.
No, there is not.
No, nothing else has happened.
That's it.
Nothing?
There's a bunch of board game and video game news. That's it.
Real slow.
Well, I mean, we could always just remember, like I said, take a moment, take a breath, and scream silently inside while you smile. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yay! We did it! Well, on other related note, did you guys know that we have this cool boss coming in? The boss, the super boss, the bundle boss, but not the bundle boss you think it's going to be. It's going to be Javion, the bundle boss. Tell us about
this is the biggest news. Javion being the bundle boss. This is actually and the news won't cover it. They're going to talk about the real news.
This is so exciting. I love being on the show. So I'm the bundle boss this week. Yay. I'm going to tell you about Bundle of Holding and the bundle that they're holding this week. For anybody who doesn't know, Bundle of Holding it's kind of like, what's the other one? That Humble Bundle. Yeah, it's kind of like that, but for RPGs. It's a website and they discount a bunch of RPG stuff. And this week, it's the World Builders Toolkit number 7 and 4.
So 2 different bundles.
Yeah, 2 different bundles. So the World Builders Toolkit 7, it's kind of hard to say World Builders, has a bunch of game mastering aids. So some of you might recognize Return of the Lazy DM, which I didn't know was a thing until I found out about this bundle. So I love the Lazy DM. It is just like a compendium of dungeon master tips for people like me who don't have a lot of time to do DM prep, or maybe are new at DMing or something like that. There's also the Suppressed Transmission, which I just found out is a column in the Pyramid magazine.
Back in my day, I read that column as it came out monthly.
Yeah.
But Suppressed Transmission was just amazing back in the day. That was where Ken Hite would just kind of take the opportunity to go off on some weird, wacky idea. And he would usually take one conspiracy idea back when conspiracies were fun, one weird conspiracy idea, one weird game idea, and just be like, what happened if you mush the 2 together? you'd get this cool thing. So it was just like a nonstop font for like wonderful ideas if you wanted your games to just be a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Bless
Dab
you
off.
on your soul.
Dab.
If you know what Steve Jackson Games is, or if you haven't heard of Suppressed Transmission, the bundle comes with a lot of stuff. So there's the starter collection, which comes with some Kobold guide to game mastering things, which I actually have on my shelf up here. There's like the game mastering guide to world building, to dungeoneering, to magic in general, but it's all system neutral stuff about being a game master in general, which all the stuff in the bundle this week will have. Then there's the level up stuff that's going to give you more than just a ton of maps. It'll also give you the Suppressed Transmission. That's how you get it. And the Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master PDF as well. And also the Robbins Laws of Good Game Mastering PDF, which I think is really cool. I think I saw this very, very briefly when I worked at Mox earlier this year. It looked like a very thin pamphlet with a bunch of like, this is how you do good game mastering. It's very intriguing. I highly suggest you check it out. So if you want to support a bundle of holding this week, they are benefiting a charity called Direct Relief, which offers a bunch of medical assistance and aid, not to just people and places in the United States, but also all over the world. So stay at home and play RPGs to help keep the pandemic from spreading any worse than it has, and also support the people who are already sick by playing RPGs.
Yes, there we go. Very, very nice. I'm glad. Yes, stay inside, wash your hands if you can, and play video or play RPGs to help those in need. Now we're going to go ahead and kick off to our Kickstarters with our Kickstarter Queen, Derek.
Why, thank you for that high-pitched intro. We reach for the stars. So the first Kickstarter to go through this week actually is like not a super sexy or exciting or bombastic project. It's just a table mat. I don't know if anybody is used to playing or laying out the hard plastic folding tables, but those can actually be a real pain in the butt to try to play card games and stuff on, because it's really hard to pick the cards back up off of, and they don't look super great. So this is one of those like really hyper-focused kind of neat Kickstarter projects that's just like, we're producing playmats that cover the whole table. So I think they're like 6 feet by about 2.5 feet, which is a pretty standard size for those. It's basically like your mouse pad or your Magic playmat or something like that, just scaled up. You can get it with 1-inch grid. You can get it with 1-inch hex grid. If you're one of those folks who are playing on folding tables, either because you don't have space to leave a fancy table out on, or because you just haven't gotten one, or, you've got a finished basement or whatever it is that you're playing on, this is a really good way, I think, to kind of take your probably a little frustrating, maybe a little bit of an eyesore folding table and kick it up a notch. So very straightforward. Check it out.
The idea that like this is like something that so many people have an issue with, every place that I go with is like there's always this issue of like picking up your cards off of the folding tables.
Yes.
This is such a big brain. This man had such a big brain to do this. Also, sidebar, the picture of him and like his partner and their dog is the most wholesome picture. I don't know if you see in the Kickstarter, but they have they're a very wholesome bunch of people. But truly, third eye wide open for this person who decided to
Galaxy
do this.
brain moment.
True galaxy brain. Yeah. It's so simple. It's such a simple idea, but it's so like important. Okay. Anyway.
No, you're right. You're absolutely
You're right.
We'll all have 4 days left to join the galaxy brain state and support this so that you can level up your folding table, basically. The next project that we want to talk about has 6 days left. And from what my fellow hosts tell me, they immediately saw it and were like, yeah, Derek, you can have that one. Because It's a card game. It's like a 2-player or 1 to 2 player. It's got a solo mode. 1 to 2 player drafting game. You draft some cards, you lay them out in a 3x3 grid, you score, and you kind of see who got the most points. It seems like it's a pretty straightforward game with some possibility for strategic stuff. I haven't played it yet, so I'm not sure how it pans out. But the art is really what kind of struck me. It's just really, really simple and striking art. The cards are the illustrations are basically just silhouettes with a few exceptions that are nice and creepy, against just a solid color background. So there's like, red and yellow and I think green and stuff like that. And it's just the silhouettes are kind of each faction, each color has a thematic link. But because they're just silhouettes, you don't get a ton of detail. It's a little suggestive. You got to kind of fill in details with your mind. So I obviously was like, oh, wow, this looks neat and dark and spooky. So it's just one of those ones where the visuals kind of stopped me, made me kind of take a moment, look at the mechanics. Seems like it might be intriguing, and definitely worth checking out if you want what sounds like to be kind of a pretty straightforward game. And that has 6 days left. Usurper. Oh, it's also a collaboration by 2 brothers. That was one of the neat things. One of the brothers has been designing a couple games now, and this is his first collaboration with his brother, which I also thought was cute and wholesome. So somehow I ended up with the really like heartwarming, wholesome games this week.
Okay,
it's a good change. 2020 has thrown us so many curveballs, and this is one of them. So
turning over a new heartwarming leaf.
Yeah.
Grim, cute, dark Derek? Is that what you're going for? Grim, cute, dark Derek. There you go. Well, on other Kickstarter that's going on with 6 days left as well, Thursday, November 12th, Fairy Tale Files, Mystery Murder Games. This game is for ages 14 and up, even though it is fairy tale based. So it's basically just lighthearted murder mystery games and a mystery escape, or like 4 escape room style mystery puzzle games, all with the fairy tale theme. You can either get it as a package or individually. And the games that you could play, one, the artwork is just kind of nice. I really like the striking reds, blacks, and whites in how they like presented everything else. So the 4 mysteries that they have up here is the 7 suspects. Like basically, if you couldn't guess, Snow White, you're investigating who poisoned the apples. Cinderella's murder, if the old classic fairy tale. The stepmother and the stepsisters don't really get out cleanly. So there's
they shave their parts of their feet off.
Yes.
Oh.
And eyes.
Okay.
They missed their eyes. So this is very very Brothers Grimm fairy tales kind of thing.
I'm just going to suggest, actually, I'm going to take a moment. Based on Javion's reaction, I would like to suggest that we schedule a special stream where we find the grossest version of a fairy tale that we can, and then we just read it to Javion. It's story time with Javion.
I know
like
a Little Red
worst.
Riding Hood version that's super bad.
No. Oh gosh. Oh. I already know what it is.
What about the red shoes? Have you guys heard the fairy tale of the red shoes? And then she dances, and she dances so much that her like feet like fall off, and her shoes and her feet keep dancing, and she's just left with like bloody nubs. Yeah, a classic, a children's classic.
I hate it.
I definitely want to do ghost stories, spooky stories with Javion for next Halloween.
Oh, yay.
Why wait? Why are we waiting? Let's do it now.
Yeah, let's just set our switch clock back to Halloween again and go visit our little town.
How dare you?
No.
Listen, time has no meaning in 2020. It's not a real thing right now. So
do you guys know that murder mystery, like not even murder mysteries, mystery like escape rooms are a thing? They're still going on right now. Apparently.
Wait a second. So you knew all about the fact that people are still playing GTA and still barping inside of GTA, but you didn't know about escape rooms still being a thing?
I went to one recently. Yeah, apparently it counts as like exercise. So like gyms are allowed to be open, but like escape rooms are allowed to be open too.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
didn't
we all made the same face. We were all like, what?
Seriously, I went to one.
exercise. I mean,
It
I
was-
get it.
It was really
Yeah.
good. It was like the Evil Dead 2, and it was, like,
Yes, my friend
doors
owns
opening and stuff
that
like
one.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay, it was so much
yeah.
fun. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good, right? Yeah, my friend Seth Wolfson, he owns the Evil Dead 2 escape room
Oh,
here in
cool.
Seattle. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
It's
There you
very
go.
good and it's virtual. Please, if you guys are into
Yes,
it, it's a
virtual.
lot of fun. It's really good and you can still play it virtually. He also has another one which is with the voice of the lead actor of Welcome to Night Vale. They
Oh.
did another one together, which is all virtual and it's about a haunted computer and it's really fun. Please check it out. Oh my God, what's the name of the company?
Hourglass Escape Room?
Hourglass Escapes. Yes.
Our Scout.
Yeah.
So they have
please,
online.
so you can. Yeah. It's so much
Hourglass
fun. Please
Escape?
check it out.
Time
Yes.
has no meaning.
It's my vibe. The Twilight
it.
Zone. We're in it. Okay.
Welcome to
It's-
Night Vale is a completely different, like a different stream. We have to talk about that.
Speaking of something that I would love, well, I guess we weren't speaking of this, but I'm gonna bring this up. Something that I would love to be a tabletop game is when is Welcome to Night Vale coming out with a game? Because that's something that I would absolutely love to play. If you guys don't know what Welcome to Night Vale is, it's a podcast that's about a community radio from a town that is just super messed up, and it's really funny and it's really good.
Honestly, I have a feeling that we could do Welcome to Night Vale in any of a dozen games I have on my shelf. Over the Edge, I think would be great for it. Fiasco would be great for it.
Oh yeah, Fiasco would be working. Yeah.
Don't threaten me with a good time, Derek. I'm gonna hold you to it. We're gonna do it now. Now that you've said it, gotta do it.
I can handle Welcome to Night Vale. Like I've actually listened to it and like it's not that bad.
But can you handle me running Welcome to Night Vale?
Probably not. Based on the last RPG that you ran for me, probably not. Although you're an amazing GM.
I think like escaping from the librarians, or like something like that, or escaping from the dog park. That would be cool.
Oh man.
So Bonsai.
Yes. So
fairy tales.
Sorry, fairy tales. But yes, so if you guys as you can see, mystery puzzle rooms grab everybody's attention, and then like everyone's like, yes, we need these. So if you guys want it, it is like all of those various different, like you got the Who Framed Mr. Wolf, Arson at the Candy Shop, with a Hansel and Gretel theme on there,
and a 50-cent song.
Yeah, so the cool thing about this that I really liked is that they also, with this game, gives you instructions on how to repackage it. So if you want to go ahead and like each of your friends buy a packet, and then you guys can interchange it, and then they could play it and have their own experience as well. So that's with 6 days left, November 12th, Fairy Tales Files Murder Mystery Games.
All right, Javion.
Hi, I got a Kickstarter for you.
Do you?
But I had a very special intro that I wanted to. So let me just get into character real fast. Hold on. In the future, the universe is ruled by the advanced civilization of puppies. And a mysterious threat from an alternate dimension has emerged to destroy the world. Barkmageddon! Now, sadly, this Kickstarter isn't actually named Barkmageddon, but I wish it was. It's called Alien Puppies.
Javion, you're just the cutest person in the entire world. Has anybody ever told you that?
Well, thank you.
Adorable.
Thank you very much. This is a very cute puppy-related game. It's cyberpunk themed. It's a take that card game for 2 to 5 players. It is a super simple, super family-friendly card game about puppies in space trying to stop Barkmageddon, but it's also a competitive game, so it's very much not a cooperative game. It's very family-friendly. Kind of what you're doing is you're picking up like these puppy cards and you're playing them into your backyard, and also cyberpunk themes like ray guns and I don't know, like other cyberpunk stuff.
Hold on, ray guns are cyberpunk to you?
Sorry.
I think we need to
Sorry.
keep adding stuff to the
I didn't
list that we
play
need
it.
to go through.
I never played Cyberpunk. I've seen a lot of it. I don't know. I thought like Space Gun would have been
Sure.
like too generic. So, but Alien Puppies. It is self-published by Piotr and Kim On in Singapore. And the art for this game is very good. I thought it was going to be something like very generic and sort of just like, like dot
Same.
for eyes, smiley face
Yeah.
kind of like looking faces, but they went into like a lot of detail. It's not generic at all.
Very,
I found
very
out,
cute.
yeah, I found out the artists are Kevin Tolibao and Juni Frio. So look up their stuff if you like the art. So there's 6 days left to the Kickstarter. If you like exploding kittens and unstable unicorns and other take that card games about, annihilating your friends' backyards with puppies, there's 6 days left on the Kickstarter. So check it out.
Nice. This one was this Kickstarter I'm very excited to present. Have you ever wanted to kiss, fall in love? That's right. Take my revolution. It's Thirsty Sword Lesbians with 6 days left. I really had to scramble to put that one together really fast. This game, which we've described as being Revolutionary Girl Utena, the RPG, is about lesbians, women falling in love with other women and fighting it out with swords. It's the power of queer love, everybody. That's exactly what we need right now. This one, first of all, you had me at Thirsty Sword Lesbians. I saw this title and I was like, say less.
I was so confused about this title when I saw it.
I don't understand why. They're lesbians, they have swords, and they're thirsty. What is hard to understand about it? It's all there. So this one, the art is incredible. It has a really cool, it does remind me a lot of Revolutionary Girl Utena, but all of the characters have their own personalities and their own style. It's really, really cute. I love the kind of diversity of skin tones, the diversity of body shapes as well, which is really cool. And you get to play as 9 different character types: beast, chosen, devoted, infamous, nature witch, scoundrel, seeker, spooky witch, and trickster. That, I think these types should be the types of all RPGs. And I'm saying that right now. Are you
play anything other than spooky witch?
Oh, damn. Well, you got me.
Oh.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I might play as a scoundrel. That kind of sounds fun. But I will be playing as Spooky Witch. This looks really cute and looks really fun. And it looks like it has a very kind of a unique sort of a kind of a setup to it. I also like that one of the adventures that you can go to is the Monster Queers of Castle Gay Skull. And also, as soon as I saw that, I was like, say less, take my money, let's do this. So
absolutely.
Yeah, they like this project like blew up and has like burned through Twitter and come back around again and burn through Twitter again with people's excitement. So they have funded a ton of extra playbooks and kind of character types, a ton of like other spin-offs, like the mecha version, the galactic Japanese pro wrestling version, the greasy dock goblins instead of thirsty sword lesbian. Like they have definitely taken this in a number of different directions. But like this sounds like a perfect indie RPG to jump into. It's like, and this is also just a perfect excuse for us to just give the important PSA of Revolutionary Girl Utena is one of the classic anime and everybody should watch it, and it's weird as hell and it is amazing. You should all go see it.
They pulled a sword out of a lady.
every episode just about.
I don't know how else you're supposed to express your love besides allowing a person to take the sword out of your heart. To me, that's very romantic.
Oh my gosh. Oh, like Scott Pilgrim. I get it.
Well, Scott
Pilgrim was a
yes.
borrowed a lot from other places, but yeah, this game I think is going to be like one of the hot games that's going to come out. Not that you should buy games because they're like the new hot game, but this game is going to be very popular, I think, for a while, and all the different variations of it. I do also like their whole stance of like, this game is not for fascists or bigots or TERFs. And we stand that. We stand a hardcore stance on that this game is for intersectionality, racial liberation, feminism, and queer liberation. And I love to see it. And I just wanted to I want those lesbians just to hit me with all their swords and just wash over me.
But lightly and delicately. Yeah, so like Evil Hat, the publisher Evil Hat has been very outspoken, very supportive, has been very strident in the kind of accepting, welcoming, inclusive politics that we very much like to see out in the industry, and I think they've been doing a fantastic job of it.
Yeah, so please support their projects. With 6 days left, Thirsty Swords Lesbians coming at you. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Fallen Revolution.
Oh no, I'm just stuck with it. I know I got that song stuck in my head now. Thanks.
It's a bop. It's last. Javian, do you have another game for us?
I think I do. Do you guys know what coin dozers are? Have you ever heard of a coin dozer? It's like the pachinko machines.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's where you like pop a little coin in like the top of a machine, and it like falls through like some. What's that game on The Price is Right? Plinko or something like that. Plinko. Yeah, the Plinko little pegs. Yeah. It falls down and maybe like some lights flash, and then it pushes more coins out.
Oh, those games.
Yeah.
I know.
Kabuto Sumo is a Kickstarter that is going to be ending in 6 days and draws inspiration from pachinko machines. The designer, what's his name again? I can't remember his name. I forgot his name. It's like I'll
look it up for you.
Yeah, thank you. I thought I put it down. I forgot. The designer said so himself. That was what the inspiration was like drawn from. So it's a 2 to 4 player game. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes to play, and it's very super cute. So it is a bunch of beetle sumo wrestlers who are trying to push each other off of the giant leaf for like dominance of the forest or something like that. I don't know. Some of my favorite beetle names that I picked out are Kabuto Mushi, the Japanese rhino, Pebble, the Hercules rhino, and Cactus Jacked.
I was about to say, if you don't pick Cactus Jacked, then I'm gonna
Cactus Jacked. They're like wrestler, like pseudonym names like that,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. There are like a bunch of pieces, and you take turns like pushing them onto the board and pushing other pieces off. You can play in teams, or you can just do like a free-for-all game mode. And the pieces aren't all just discs. They have like little leaves or butterfly wings or scorpion tails and stuff like that. So Board Game Tables, the publisher who's putting this game on Kickstarter, makes a lot of custom tables on their website, and they've made some other games like On Tour, the world or the American Tour card game. It's sort of like a flip and write kind of game. They're the ones who are making this game, and I really liked On Tour. Actually, I thought it was a pretty cool game. I think it's cool that they're putting something else out that's a little bit more like dexterity based. So check it out now. It's only 6 days left on the Kickstarter, and if we get enough people through the stretch goals, we'll get a new beetle called Nightmare on Elm Trees, which, as much as I hate the movie, I love that name because I'm a big fan of wordplay.
I was hoping you were going to say horror, and I was like, yes, finally.
Never.
So I looked up the designer for you, and it is Tony Miller.
Tony Miller, that's it.
Bearded Rogue on Twitter, which
right.
I find very amusing because I have been mistaken for him in real life.
Oh, really?
Like when especially when my hair was purple, somebody came up and they were like, "Oh, hey, you're bearded rogue, right?" And I was like, "Sorry, no." And they were like, "Oh," and then walked off.
Oh.
That was my brush with fame.
Oh no. It'll
Well, now
happen.
people will recognize Tony Miller as you because you're so famous now because you've been
Yeah.
on Gen Con TV for so long.
Yeah.
Definitely. Isabella, what about?
Oh my God, that's sorry. I feel like I've talked about this 40 different times before, but when I was a kid, my initial kind of board game experience was with a specific kind of board games, of which I feel like gets no respect in the modern era. Board games like Dateline, Girl Talk, Dream Phone, Mystery Date. Is this ringing any bells?
I am aware. I am aware
Yep.
of all of these.
I have played
Okay.
these.
We're not in the realm of my experience.
Well, if you were a young person in the early 90s, these games were very, very popular. And if you go back and you look at some of these games, a lot of the boys that you could date on these games are now famous, including Chris Evans, which was in my copy of Dateline, which is really fun to see. Anyway, with 7 days left, we have a game that reminds me a lot of the board games that I used to play when I was a young child who was trying to imagine a world in which I could date boys and hang out with boys. Is this game called Boy Band Builder. And it's a 2 to 4 player card game where you're trying to build a boy band, essentially. Oh man, I was just going to say the name of the guy who made NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys, but is now in jail, and I can't remember his name.
Oh my gosh.
I would have no idea.
Anyway, don't be like that guy, and build your boy band, but build it ethically to try to be the biggest boy band in the entire world.
Are you advocating for free range boy bands?
I am. I'm saying that the boy band should be allowed
No
to be
pesticide, organically grown, grass fed, free range boy bands.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think
That's
that they belong
boy band.
in cages. I think they should be able to go out and eat their own grass, and I think that results in better boy band milk. Anyway, so
wow.
Anyway, this has been such a week for me, you guys. My brain,
Yep.
if you open up my brain, it's just smooth. There's just no
Somebody
wrinkles.
better clip that one because we do not want to let you ever forget about that.
Ooh, yeah, that's great. Quote it first.
My brain is just mush right now. This game reminds me of another game actually that came out in, oh man, when did this game come out? 2019? I feel like 40 years ago. Called Battle of the Boy Bands, but it's like less anime, and it looks more westernized. It looks like they have more people of color maybe, and instead of having like anime Bishonen boyfriends, no, not boyfriends, you can't date them, you can date them if you want to. This one has more of just like outlines, and it reminds me a lot of the games that you would play, like Mystery Date and stuff like that, where it'd be like, oh, we're gonna date Hector, who's a surfer boy. It's like stuff like that. But it's harder to lewd when they're just cut outlines, which is a con for me. I think that they should, maybe if there's another version where they
Are you giving it demerit points because it's harder to lewd? Is that what you said?
I think the perfect board game for Isabella would be Spooky Horn Dogs.
Seduced by the demons.
You're not wrong. Okay, I have been playing a game, and I don't know if I should say this or not, but I've been playing a game on my phone where you have to date demons, and they're all just like very sexy demon boys, and you have to pick which one. My favorite one is Lucifer. He's a hot boy, and I hope to one day make him mine. Anyway,
Isabella, he lives in hell. Of course, he is a hot boy.
Stop! The stream is over. It's done. Cut the cameras. It's over. I'm done. I'm quitting Gen Con. I don't want to do this anymore.
So, before we move on to the next Kickstarter, would you like to feel the crushing pain of the time that has passed in 2020? Battle of the Boy Bands funded on Kickstarter in June, and we covered it on this show.
What? Of this year?
Oh, wait,
Yes.
it hasn't. Oh,
It was funded on June 4th. We covered it in the show. It was not 2019.
Are you
not
sure?
So I just looked it up on Kickstarter. It funded. It had a last update like a couple days ago. It funded June 4th.
No way.
Okay.
oh.
Wow.
Way.
Okay, it's been a
It's
very
fine.
long year.
It's
Jeez.
fine. Smile and scream. Smile and scream.
I could have sworn this game came out in 2018, 2019, but okay. If that's what you say, Derek, I am going to believe you, but also I'm aging rapidly. I just lost 5 years off my life.
Oh.
You are drinking from the Holy Grail right now, but you picked the wrong one.
I was drinking my free range boy band milk. Anyway, moving
I was
on.
not even gonna say that.
Premium builder.
So
I said
Bonsai,
Yeah. Hey.
would you like to tell us about the last Kickstarter we are going to discuss today?
Well, our last Kickstarter with 8 days left, Saturday, November 14th, is called Encanto, which is a Filipino mythology-inspired board game. It is a 1 to 4 player tabletop adventure board game set in an epic fantasy pre-colonial Philippines with heroes and monsters and with a lot of Filipino folklore. Everything from the heroes you play, the destination, and even the monsters are really rooted in Filipino myth and legend. The game's art direction, though, are like, so I, as a person who is mixed with a lot of various different things, but mostly as a Chamorro Filipino person, I really like games with like Southeast Asians, Pacific Islanders being presented because you don't really get a lot of that stuff. So this one hits close to my heart. My only comments is that, of course, I love the fact that they used actual mythical heroes, legends. The only thing is maybe that the art design is a little bit more Western. Like a lot of the weapons they choose, the Philippines had their own style of swords, their own style of axes. They chose to do more of a weapon style, and some of the heroes, or at least one of the heroes, is kind of depicted as a token-esque style elf. That was like my one comment, but like this is like, despite that, this is the first game that really, I believe, that really tries to capture the rich history of the Philippines, and a lot of the lores. Like even like one of the heroes that you play, Lapu-Lapu, is one of the, like, basically, if you didn't know, Magellan tried to come over to the Philippines and the Filipinos were like, nah, and then basically ran him off and beheaded a lot of people on his crew, because they were like, we don't want you here. So there's a lot of cool legends like that. People don't realize that has happened in the Pacific Islands and like all those areas. Overall, it's a very simple adventure, but the setting really helps make it unique. My other comment is that the designer himself is not Filipino, but he does live in the Philippines, and he's a big lover of of the culture and everything. He speaks not only Tagalog but 2 other distinct languages in the Filipino language. The only thing is that yes, he has this and he's very immersed in the culture, but I would like to see Filipino cultural advisor on the I'm sure he has a lot of knowledge. It's obvious that he very does want to try to respect the culture and everything, and he's just very into what is the culture of the Philippines. So I'll give him credits for that, but I just, like, for me, I would like to be like, hey, I also consulted these people as well as my touching stone.
We've talked about that before, where
Yes.
there are projects that we find real interesting and that we want to be really hopeful of, but considering how often people have made mistakes or not really talked to the actual people who lived through these things, to get things to be accurate, it feels like you kind of need to say, yes, I actually did do the due diligence. I did get a cultural consultant or a sensitivity reader, or these are the people that I interviewed for this research. Like, I'm showing my homework basically. Just because there are so many people who've kind of messed up that step, that seeing it demonstrated makes us much more comfortable with stuff. So hopefully we still hope that will kind of become the the standard operating procedure is that you list your designer, you list your artist, you list all of your credits, and you also confirm who you talk to about the actual cultures you're depicting.
Yes. So I'm excited. Want to see what's more, like people just exploring more of these legends that are out there, because there is more than Asian lore, African lore, and then, European lore, which is usually everybody covers. Got to branch out. Got all these little languages. Everybody's different. So that is again Encanto. That is 8 days left, November 14th. So everyone, guess what? That was our stream today. But hey, don't go anywhere, because you know what? We also do more than just TableTakes here. Our streaming schedule is based off of Pacific Standard Time. So as it goes, Monday, we got 6 p.m. board games with the Brothers Murph. They're brothers, they play board games, and then you can have fun with them. Wednesday, this game gets dicey. It's two folks that are from different parts of the globe. One's in the UK, one's around here, and they come together to play a game via online. And just have fun personalities, just from being from different areas. Also on Wednesday, 4 p.m., Fireside with Peter Atkinson, where Peter interviews the new up-and-coming people coming into the role-playing world and seeing what their points of view are, how they're changing it, why they decided to do what they do, and how they're basically building a better community for people within their space.
And speaking of Fireside and speaking of Filipino stuff, I mentioned it in chat, but just to let everybody know who may not be paying attention to it, Peter had an interview with one of the designers behind Sina Una. I think that's how it's pronounced, which is like the Filipino D&D source book that I think is released now. But the interview, had a lot of really good detail in it. So if anybody wants more Filipino lore and, how to bring that into your RPG games, you should make sure to check it out.
But yes, so that, Wednesday, 4 p.m. Check those out. Friday, of course, you get us 2 p.m. TableTakes and all of that good stuff. Remember, friends, to follow, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you don't miss an episode here live on Twitch. But if you do, don't worry. Dog. Anywho, so don't worry. We got a YouTube channel. All the episodes will be uploaded to YouTube in a 24-hour basis. If you also want to just connect with us on Gen Con and play games and get together with other role-playing board game fanatics, friends, fans, we got Gen Con official Discord that you can come and hang out with and vibe with us. Thank you, everyone, for coming over. Isabella, Javion, Derek, and also behind the scenes, Marcus, thank you for doing here. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Remember to drink water, and everyone, every vote counts. Every vote
counts. Count all the votes.
Count them.
Thanks for having me on again, you guys. I had a great time.
All right, bye, friends.
Bye. Take care of yourself.